Hidden.
Okay,
Forgotten.
that's cool.
This is Harbor Town.
Yeah, I think that's a little too much, man.
Yeah.
So,
Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority,
Kick it.
the leader
Kick
in
it.
tabletop
Kick it.
gaming scene. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to it.
this is running twice.
Yep.
Should have this stuff soon, couple months.
That's good.
From the edge of the sea, from the edge of time, beckons a destination. Ancient, hidden, forgotten. This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scene. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a destination.
Fun, huh?
Yep.
See some of the regulars on already. That's good. I know Brian's going to get on, try and get on around 8 to mod for us. There's Naz. Just minor. All right, 1 minute. I let Jeff know. I didn't know if you talked to Jeff, but I let Jeff know too. Just sent him a text. Can you hear me loud and clear, Mark?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I think I got my sound up too high.
Yeah, that sounds just about right.
In my headset, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it up a little too much. Oh my gosh. All right, let's pop this puppy on a minute early. What do you think, guys? Yes, we're at the Renaissance Fair. Tom, we're at the Renaissance Fair. No, here we go. Hello. Hey, hello. How's everyone doing tonight? I got myself J.A.K. Lurkazumba back from Florida. And you can't see it too well, but I got some burn on my arms. My ankles got it the worst. I had 70 sunblock on, Mark, and I don't know how I got burned there, but I got burned. So
Wow.
it was crazy, man. It was so nice down there. It was a good time.
Yeah,
But,
I bet.
I got Mark with me, DM Marco from his Monday night group and from playing in my group, and we got some. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, and I've actually put this on the schedule multiple times and put it off for other special things. And so we're going to try and go into detail on the Order of Ulek tonight and answer all your questions. Wow. Hey, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Rox. Thanks, Naz. Thanks, everyone else on. We already got a large crowd on tonight, and I'm glad to say, I guess everyone missed us, Mark. They missed us or something. That's so awesome, guys. Thank you so very much for hopping on. We're excited. I'm excited about all the cool stuff we got going on right now. We have a lot of content. Now, we're going to go over that like at the end of the show. Massive content going on. But I want to say this before we start. If anyone saw Mark's new Shieldlanders group that started up, what's the name? Goat is the name of their group? Is that the real name?
No, I don't think it's really the name. There was so it actually started at the Mega Stream, where Jeff's character had lost her husband to by taking a goat herd up to near Ringland, and so my group is really great at puns and loves puns. So a lot of goat type of jokes came out, and then Rod's character is doing the whole six-fingered man aspect. So
six-fingered man, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting too.
Yeah. So is
it on one hand or two hands?
On just one hand.
Oh shoot! You know what? I got a lot of catching up to do while we're talking here. We're talking here, and I should be doing all this, man. We're cranking out the new followers, the new subs. It's been fantastic, and thanks for all the support. So let me catch up on that as we keep on chatting. So it's not goat. Goat's kind of a joke, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just a joke at this point.
Okay.
They may come up with something that revolves around goats. But I tasked Jeff with doing a banner, like a little flag.
Right.
Had a goat on it to put it on one of the figures to carry around, but
no, that didn't go. No, that's not happening.
Well, no, it'll probably happen, but he's actually
that's awesome.
So he sent me, just as kind of an update with him, some of the master crafting he's doing. He actually went to Adepticon this weekend. And he was taking some painting classes that were schooled by some of the top 10 in the industry.
Was Jimmy the Brush there or no? He's from the UK, isn't he? So I guess he wasn't there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who, but he was sending me pictures of some of the stuff that he was doing. Unbelievable.
Right.
So yes, they're teaching some really rad skills.
Good. That's good. Too bad Bill won't learn. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, Bill. Bill's a master crafter. He should be teaching the classes out there.
Bill, I didn't have time. Bill sent me some stuff that he's going to have for Thursday, some new terrain. I just didn't have time to even get it up. And look, so guys, look at this. You see this? You normally have pictures up of figures that we're going to discuss, and I just didn't have time getting home, getting up at 5 o'clock. Oh, good, it went out of focus again. It always goes out of focus every time. I just didn't have time to do it. So what I did was I thought outside the box, and I just created a little, like, mini studio right here, and I got all the figures next to me that we want to talk about. So hopefully that'll work for us. But oh man, see, look, I did one. That was it. I'm losing. This one is this is Carlos Castle Entertainment. That is Carlos Lacing's company.
Oh,
So
very nice.
yes. I'll have an announcement at the end of the night about this too, and so Carlos has set it up so he has a company that is set to follow us too. And here comes another one. This guy not only followed us, he subbed, and then he told me he's one of Tom the Duty's students. So Tom, I don't know who it is, Tom, but he's one of your students. So that was a good one, a good sign there too. And so let me get his sub up too. So yeah, it's nice stuff going on, guys. Thank you all so very much. But tonight, the Order of Ulek. So what do we all know about the Order of Ulek? We should know a lot about it, but maybe you don't know some of the nuances about it. Good thing that is going on with the Order of Ulek is we're doing a lot more content involved in it, so you get kind of a feel for the campaign. Now, of course, the irony of it, this Thursday's group has nothing to do with the Order of Ulek. Really, it doesn't. I mean, you may have, I don't know because Spooter is not in the Order of Ulek, correct?
That is correct.
His brother is.
Yes.
His brother is
a destined to be apprentice knight. He was a sergeant, and then you got tired of keeping him as a sergeant or a captain or something.
Right. So, but he's a guardian, but he's not a member of the Order of Ulek. So we'll actually go away. But next week's show will be on the Vespi Forest and the Valley of the High Folk as we go into this new adventure with in the Defiled Glades. So we're going to talk about next week in depth. We'll get into the Vespi Forest because we haven't touched it on streaming at all. Not at all. And it's a great area. It's rich with a lot of crazy stuff. So, Steve's now subbed. So here's the thing, guys. 9 months, you get your Michael Baton sword now. Okay. All right. I'm going to scan through this real quick. So to let everyone know, Naz especially, here comes. So they added a 9-month sword, and they gave us a brand new 12-month sword. Thank you, ZJ Whalen 5. Thanks. Guess what? You got us to our March follower goal. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Here we go. Look at this. Oh, you don't want to see cheater. All right. So here are the swords. Base 3, 6, 9. The 9 was the 12. Now we have like a 12-month winged gold sword. You have a Super Michael Baton sword at 12. So yes. So now 9 months, you all will be getting the gold sword, which is cool. You don't have to wait a full year now. So a lot of you will be getting that. Glory be, says Naz, who I think you're at 8 months. I think his next month he'll have it. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. All right, so let's get into some depth here into the Order of Ulek. What's your oldest memory of the Order of Ulek, Mark?
Oh wow!
Just even an adventure.
I would say the oldest thing that I distinctly remember is probably the time that we went up against Macarash and Company when Skeeve imprisoned him, and that was the fight with the Spader.
Yes, that was Duel with an Archdevil.
Yeah, that's probably my oldest memory that I have of it.
That's got to be 83 or 84, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking 35 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, 35 years of campaigning, and if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a long time, and that's a good one. I mean, that's a momentous fight. I remember Battle of Outpost #1 because it was just myself, Tim, and Walt playing, and it was the 50 pikemen that went out. That's the Feint and Skeeve and Florimond and Pete Moss. And it was the first logged adventure we ever did. And the Order of Ulek was formed really before we even started doing adventures, logging adventures, because and this is the good news on this. And I want to really push this hard. Um, I have writing now for the Earth Journal and Greyhawk Online, and at Gary Con, the first Earth Journal, boom, just came up. That's Earth Journal number 28. So, Gary Con 11. It was shown in hard copy. You can get it on PDF on Greyhawk Online. It doesn't cost anything. All 28 of them are available there. Celebrating the world of Greyhawk, a fandom renaissance. Now, what I want to say about this is to go back to the base history of the Order of Ulek. I wrote 2 articles for this, and it's in there. And I was the first article shown, and I was kind of proud of that. This is it: the Order of Ulek, the founding and synopsis. This goes over some really general, basic stuff in the early days of the Order of Ulek. It's 2 pages. It's not very long. Gives you some generalizations on what happened. So that is in the Earth Journal, and then the second one I did for the Earth Journal, which was really a lot more in detail, was the Order of Ulek current situation in the Shieldlands. I discussed that. Mark read this on one of his adventures when he created his new Shieldland characters. He read the entire thing.
That is correct.
Yes. So I'm writing more of them. So we're going to be discussing a lot of what we're going to be doing in the future, and it's going to be a lot of Order of Ulek based stuff, which is cool. But this week it won't be. It'll be some Druidic stuff, which is really neat too. We're going to change it up a little bit. So getting back early on, you had a base group of characters, and a lot of the characters were Monty Hall characters. They were. Mark even had them. Jeanette Farman, Jada Grade, and all the girls from The Facts of Life.
Natalie and Joe and Blair.
They're all there, and Steve Floraman, Pete Moss, Walt's character. I mean, all those guys, and that was really the first generation of characters. I don't really talk about them that much. It's a little embarrassing, really, a little bit. You're kids, you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, you shouldn't be embarrassed by it, because I mean that's where they come from. I mean, honestly, I mean it's what was where everything stemmed from.
That's true. That's where we started from, way back in the day. Was that's true, Mark. That's absolutely 100% true. I didn't even think about it that way. But, our second generation of characters were a little more balanced, and they count. And here's Gazumba's figure.
Yeah. And then we threw the deck at them, and they got Monty Hall again.
Some of them, but not Gazumba. Gazumba never did, and Fensick never did.
No, that's because you had Jeff Moore to do it for you.
Yeah, that's true. I always forget about that Jeff did a couple crazy things. Yeah, boy my age. Yes, a 52-year-old boy there, Naz. Thanks, man. You're absolutely correct on that. It's just crazy where all the time is gone. So I see even Walt's hopped on tonight. I am Mojo's on, some of our VIPs and gamers. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Facts of Life girls are all dead. Rocks. I had Joe the Ranger, Natalie the Paladin. I think Blair the Monk retired. Right? She's still alive.
I don't remember you having Tootie, though.
I didn't have Tootie. I should have had Tootie. Blair the Monk is 22nd level. No, 17th level monk. She retired. She went off to... I had a lot of these characters go into the Winds. And hey, there's Tom. Hey, Tom. Good to see you, man. Like I said, Tom got us a follower and sub, and I don't even know if he knows who it is, the person is, but it's pretty funny. So... Yes, hey, ZJ Whalen, thanks for the follow. We are the oldest, we believe we are the only 1E2E hardcore streamers with miniatures online. Check out some of our vids, and there's Prater's Rejects. Prater's followed us off of what we were doing with, he loves our content, and I like their content back. He's a Texas guy. So thank you all for hopping on here on our talk about the Order of Ulek tonight. But ZJ Whalen, we play 1E2E. That's what we play. We're actually going to play a 5E game as kind of as a spoof, but Brian won't take it as a spoof on the 27th on our Saturday night special. But you will, if you want to see how 1E2E campaigns played, here's the place for you in Greyhawk. That's what we do. We are old school, and it's a blast. I know Mark's group, Mark has some different rules than I do, but it's all 1E2E based still. Yeah. So it's a fun time. We have a great time with it. So when you get back into that second generation of characters, we're talking Hawk, Gazumba, Fensick, Leuven. Neither of them are Night of Ulek characters. But then you get Britomart, you get Lena, you get Schlemmen Meal. Mark, Mark gets like Railstone, I would say, in that group.
Yeah.
Railstone and David are in that group. You know, we're talking about Devitt's in that group. So we're talking about characters back, and we're talking about in the 83 era, 82, 83 on. We finally started getting our feel for how to do characters right.
Yeah.
So, and and so some of them I have. I want to put out some of the hierarchy of the Order of Ulek. I know we wanted to talk about. We're going to bounce all over the place because I got back from Florida. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning. I was on Captiva Island, Florida, to get back to my son's soccer game today. So I didn't. We don't have notes, so we don't have any today. So this is going to be winging it.
Well, and I'll add to this. So some of the figures that Jay's going to show, you're going to see probably a progression in hobby paints that were available and techniques that were used way back when. So as a for instance, the figure Jay just put out, Hawk, that was one of mine that I had painted, and Fonkin the same. And Tom actually painted Gazumba in the middle.
Yes, absolutely, he did. And so Hawk, and guys saw Hawk on the Mega Stream last Saturday.
Yeah,
Hawk was on the Mega Stream. He got killed again, but Morning King used and Tensor used a Roger Resurrection on him. He's a 12-15 fighter thief. Gazumba, my main NPC / PC I've used for years, is 11-12 fighter cleric mage. He's the head of the Order of Ulek. He's been the head of the Order of Ulek for 33 years. And that started in our game timeline at 6:02. So he's been, and I checked back. There was only 100 members. Every member gets a number. What number they entered the Order of Ulek, and let's see, Gazumba entered as 20th. So there was a whole bunch of Monty Hall characters before Gazumba. Hawk was 21, and then another one I wanted to put up is Walt's character Gilgalad. He was 22nd. Okay, Gilgalad is a very important role in what we're doing now with our new low level group. Let me pull up Tom's highest, Ace Broadhead, which also has another key role in our group at Winchester's Bullock as well. The Ancient Art of Dipping. We're going to show you the ultimate dipped character. I have him right here. Yeah. So this generation of characters, finally we got our footing as to what we were doing, and I got some better play balance, and they're still around to this day, active.
So let's qualify a little bit of that too, because to give somewhat of an idea. So in the real old days, one of the things that used to happen, everybody loved playing multi-class characters, especially triple class characters.
Oh yeah.
And Jay actually had an NPC known as Methy as an example. And when they would do experience, what they would do is they would put, instead of what you're supposed to do by taking experience and in a triple class character, you would split it evenly across each, obviously with like bonus experience as applicable by the rules. Mm-hmm. But what they would do is they would actually take and load up all the experience in one of the character classes, which is kind of interesting because there's variations in like newer versions that you actually do some of that. I think it was like version 3 came out with something like that.
We're going to tell you. All right. So she ended up, she died. She was killed by a Pukhead permanently. Rest in peace list. 17th fighter, 29th cleric, 16th mage. Monty Hall.
Yeah. Well, and Jay, and to qualify that too, Jay actually did that because Resurrection was readily available for a 29th level cleric.
Yeah, you could say that. So, I
so
mean,
like
I said,
those
were the good old days, guys. So you get the idea.
Yeah.
So
another concept behind it was we with triple class characters, what we sometimes refer to as the old hit point way.
Oh yeah.
Where when you went up in levels, you actually rolled dice for all character classes. So in a fighter cleric mage, you would roll a die 10, die 8, and die 4. Add that all together, and then cut it in 3.
We needed to when we rebalanced that, and it was probably only 15 years ago. Listen, only 15 that we actually undid them, and I looked at like characters and I put them at what their maximum would be. I didn't want to penalize them that much, but like guys like Azumba had 200 some hit points, and I put him. He got down to like what he was supposed to be at, like 128, 135, or whatever. Yeah. So AF, Naz, what do you mean by that?
As fuck.
Oh. Yeah. See, you're learning that we learned as we went, and that's one of the reasons why I love doing these shows. Because, guys, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but
there is. 'Cause we would learn it.
we have really made some. These are only reading classes. We've really made some major changes to what we've done over the years to make the game better for everyone and make it more balanced and make it, have it so that there aren't these mega characters running around. It's just that's the natural progression of things. And there was a lot of characters that were insane. The number one of all time, though, has got to be Lena. Sorry, Walt, if you're on, but Lena was crazy. Mage Thief, and she had like 140 hit points, which is insane. So, but she got fixed. Yes. Sugar Anus, that account's gone. I always checked on all the ones we've banned as, and I can't find them. And we've only been trolled like 2 or 3 times in a year almost. I'll take that as a compliment that we really don't get trolled that much. But the Sugar Anus was our first troll. So if you go through this list of the Order of Ulek, currently we have what's called our active list. Here's our active list. I put up a little clip of it up top. Right now we've been up to 211 members. Now there's a suspect 212th. I gotta get with Alan. He said he wanted Pat Smith to join after a Back to the Battle Site adventure, but then he never followed through on it. So I'm not sure if he or she joined. The bounty hunter mage he has. I'm not sure. Right. So we're at 211 or 212 members right now. You can join it at level 6. Okay. You can be any class. You must be good alignment. So that limits it to lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good. Okay.
And night officers have to have a fighter class subclass.
In the top 3 only.
Yeah. Oh, in the top 3 now.
Top 3 now, yes. So, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we got, this is a lot of characters, and like these are player characters now. It was like 50-50 NPC to player character early on. I had to fill it out with a lot of characters early on. I should do a test. I bet you it's like 70-30 or 80 or 75-25 PCs to NPCs now. What do you think, Mark? Right in that range?
Yeah, probably pretty close.
Pretty close of active characters. So it's really been an active playership with all of our guys, and that's Mark, that's Bill the Master Crafter, that's Tom, that's Alan, Walt. Yep. John Sheets, and Tim.
Yep.
That crew has most of the characters. There's a couple, like Gary Scharf had one. I think that's it as far as other players. I really don't think we. Oh no, I'm missing some. Wayne had a couple.
Yeah. There was some
back in the day. Yeah.
At one point. Yeah, you had Wayne, you had Bill, you had Garnett, you had Mr. Happy in there.
That's true. The other Bill
as well.
Yep,
so
absolutely,
it kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit.
So when we got to a point in the game, we didn't want to limit it to one area. Now, the Order of Ulek, if everyone knows, the main precept of the Order of Ulek is protection of, and it's in the article, but it's the protection of the Ulek states and Selene. So when the charter was first formed, the cheater. All right, so when the charter was first formed, and we go back to this map here, as you can see, this border, and if anyone remembers the old Darlene map, we'll go over the basic synopsis. There's nothing along this border, along the Jewel River. And I was a kid, I'm like, let's see, these Greyhawk Warriors, they pushed all these humanoids out of the Lord Mills. They all went to the Pomage, took the Pomage over. Why isn't anyone protecting from them to coming back in? And it was kind of poetic that it went that way because, if you look in the from the ashes and stuff. They take the whole eastern part of the Principality of Ulek, right?
Yeah.
So in our world that never happened because we started building all these keeps, starting with Wales Castle in the south, Outposts 1 and 2. And then more and more keeps have popped up that belong to player characters or actual, characters in the Order of Ulek. They're not generic. And you have the two
Right.
Watchers towers way out in the Pomars. We're going to be doing an adventure on them soon. I'll talk about that at the end of the night. It's gonna be I came up. I had an epiphany on the beach. Actually, it was a little bit before that, but yeah, we're gonna have a nice adventure out there. So and the whole gist of it was all our characters were from the Wild Coast and Selene for the most part. Everyone played a human from the Wild Coast or a half elf from Selene in the first couple generations, right, Mark? That's where they all were from. And you either worshipped Ukko, because we did a lot of Finnish mythos deity stuff, because in the Dragon and Dungeon magazines, they did a lot of Finnish-based adventures. They had like the Dark Brotherhood, which is in early Dungeon magazines, if any of you old schoolers remember it. Heisi, the god of evil, Leviatar was in there. Who else was in there? There was one other. It was Hecate was in there.
Yep.
Yeah. So so we gravitated a little bit toward that. So we used Ukko for the lawful goods, and the chaotic neutral goods all went to Alana, and for all the half elves. So and I think the articles had just come out at that time out of the Dragon magazines on all those deities. Alana of the Forest and all of Damara and all those different, each article had so many. We have a book compiled on them. And so that's where it started. The first generation, it just made sense to stay in the area. But, as we expanded outward, we wanted to go to other areas. And we were like, well, what do we do with the knighthood? Well, why can't the knighthood can have influence in other areas? And that's how it started expanding out. I mean, it's a very politicized organization. It's out there, for keeps, basically, to really put its foot on the throat of evil wherever we play. And that was the idea behind it. There had to be I came up with, there had to be an idea that we had to go with behind an organization that was our own. And remember, this is before the Free City of Greyhawk box sets out. All this out's the folio. There's nothing in detail out at this point. Right, Mark? You think of any references? There's some minor references in some modules here and there, but it was all A series, U series, L. There's nothing.
There really was not much out there in that neck of the woods. I mean, the first module I can think of that even came out was called Patriots of Ulek. It was the only one I can think of that was even in that area.
But that came out after I'm almost positive it came out after the Free City of Greyhawk box set.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is there really wasn't. And Selene, same thing. I mean,
it's nothing still.
The only thing that you ever saw of Selene was how they screwed it up, in my opinion, in From the Ashes, where they became basically shut down all their borders to every land and said, we're not getting involved.
Look at the map up there. There's an Order of Ulek symbol right on there, and all these locations. Thank you, Anna, again. They're all added into our map from Anna, assistance, and it was blank. There's really nothing on this map, but we, Mark's character Temporal is, and here, why don't we just talk about that while we have this? So we decided that a lot of the shit. Sorry, I'm saying that I shouldn't say that. Because Jeff will yell at me again for saying something shit again, like he did last week, right? So a lot of the From the Ashes things either did not happen or did not happen to a certain extent in our campaign. Particular deaths of Valderessa, deaths of Grimmy Fisher, a couple other individuals dying off. The Knights of Luna really do not play any role in our campaign at all. I'm with Melf's around, but we don't have the Knights of Luna because we already had a knighthood in Selene called the Selenian Sus Forest Watch. And we had them going back to 1980, 81, 82. So the Knights of Luna never came around because Selene is the strongest ally of the Order of Ulek, stronger than the county and the duchy. The Principality has always been neutral, and we may discuss that a little bit tonight, but Selene is the #1 ally. They've always fought together because most of the characters that are of Elven blood are Selenian natives. I mean, Gazumba's a half elf. Temporal's
Temporal's a half elf, half gray elf.
Yeah, exactly. And her second in command. All right, so is a lot of favorite character here, Jacia. All right, and an NPC, especially Priestess of Soul and Earth, Erlanderus, the god of archery. See, look, it focuses in and out. So, so what we did was we decided let's. And by the way, guys, please ask any questions at any time. Like usual, it's open forum. We want to, we want to hear some comments. We want to hear some questions. So as we went and as we expanded, it just made sense. We've had these sphere areas of influence for years. So when we got to the point where it got so large, the Order of Ulek with a lot of characters, we almost forced them into retirement because we had so many of them. So we got a retirement list and we got a rest in peace list. The inactive list has 60-some characters on it. Now a lot of them are due to old age, or just the campaign just went in another direction. I put all the honorary knights on there, and there's 5 of them. They're all on the list. Characters that are in other major organizations but deserved a place in the Order of Ulek for one reason or another, so we put them in as honorary status. Well, one of those is a player character, the other 4 are NPCs. And or just characters people got bored with, right? Alan always got bored with characters all the time, and he boom, boom, boom. But a lot of these are Allens. You look on here, Elitist, Buppy, they're Alan, Winston. They're all Alan characters. So, so what we
I head up the other list. The rest of the people.
I know. I killed a lot of guys off. I know. I'm a dick.
Come on, it was coming.
Swain, Mateo, Honoria.
Yeah.
David Gardivus the First, Randy, Big Jim Slade. Oh my God, there's a lot on here.
Yeah.
Lorana.
Technically, is actually she's on that list just because she has to be. But
yeah, absolutely. So we worked on when we expanded into other areas beyond Selene. Obviously, you had Selene, you had all the Ulek states. I think the first area would be Greyhawk, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that, so
and so kind of a timeline. So we've gone through a few different kind of progressions of things that went on, and I kind of equate them to. It's a little bit easier for me, I guess, because of times that I spent in South Jersey and out of South Jersey. But when we actually went from having Wayne and Bill and all of those guys, everything was really Ulek based. There really wasn't anything outside of there. And then when we went to playing out of the apartment that Walt and I actually had, is when Bill the Master Crafter and Islandfeld and so forth started coming in, and you had a couple of other guys that were playing, and there was some switchover from playing mostly Ulek types of adventures and really expanding out, and you can see the influence that came in where the Legion and the Iron Brigade and those types actually came in, where it really had nothing to do with the Knights of Ulek at all. It was just more, they got you to expand the horizons a little bit, to really garner things out to different areas. That's also where the Shieldlands actually happened, is that on my way out, I had given Jay some information about what I was doing with David Gradivus II and things of that nature. And then I found out, like, probably 2 years later, about the Shieldland Wars, the Greyhawk Wars that you guys did, the whole
we tried incorporating as much as we could from the Ashes box set into what we were doing in the campaign, but it was just the time frame was a little warped. It was at different times than is stated in because we were way ahead of the timeline. But that's okay. It's and you're getting in a game you guys are playing. You got to sometimes adapt to what the published materials are, then you get way skewed off. So it provided an opportunity. It provided an opportunity to do a lot of EAS-based adventuring too, all over the place. And in the Vestby Forest too, which we'll go over. So if you talk about our areas of influence, you have 5 in the order of Ulek, and I'm going to scan through our little legacy in the middle here. If I can get it up, Oh, that's funny. What I just said, it's funny. It's not flipping. What the heck? I go on the wrong one. Yeah. So you have the base one, which is the order of Ulek base symbol. Flip. It won't flip. It just doesn't want to flip. It's weird. All right. So you have the base. You have the base order of Ulek symbol. It's right now. It's on the High Folk symbol. Free City of High Folk and the Vespi Forest. That's our 5th area of influence. The least amount of. Hey Carlos, I'm glad you're on, man. Good to see you. Well, it's an unpopular opinion, Carlos, but it's probably correct. He did a lot of great work. I mean, I don't know why they never published Vivid the Undying series. It was brilliant stuff. I don't know why. Should have. I agree with you, Carlos, on that. And I'm not saying it. For us, we had to incorporate what made sense and what didn't. I mean, I've never said it was bad stuff. It just, I think it killed off a lot of too many real good PCs.
Yeah.
Hey, Legends. So I got Legends and Praetors on. Thanks, guys, for watching this little chat we do every Sunday night here. This is our 39th one. So there's the Shieldland symbol, which you've seen. You're going to see a lot in Mark's campaign up. Coming up, it's the order of Ulek and the Shieldlands. That's another area of influence that we have. Very active in that area, very, very active. But then you have the Free City of Greyhawk. That's another area of really light influence. If anyone saw and I imagine live, you saw the Mega Stream event we did. It was a mix of the mercenary group, the Iron Brigade, and a lot of those members are Order of Ulek members, and yeah, I agree, Carlos. I think he's done great stuff. Absolutely, 100%. And I know you and
anybody that can get away with writing E as the evil.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
I mean, there's all sorts of respect.
Rocks, yes. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Sure, absolutely. This is a collar chain that Brian Blumklotz is working on for us as we're going through them, and that'll be a ceremonial induction chain that goes around, and it goes around the symbol of the main order of Ulek, which will come up next. So thank you. All these are done by Brian Blumklotz, Greyhawk Heraldry. Thank you so very much, and they're all incorporated into Anna's maps as well. So we feel like we're special because we get both have Brian and Anna doing stuff for us, and Carl Sargent did some fantastic work. I mean, the Marklands and the Eve are two of my favorites of all time. And it was a good question on Facebook while I was sitting on the beach. I think Will from Return to the Bandit Kingdoms posted in his new Greyhawk Adventures Facebook chat your 3 most influential references to start a campaign. And I said the City of Greyhawk box set, right? And I'm not talking about the folio. Then I said the Slavers. I love it because it's got Marquesa in there, right, Carlos? It's got Hardby in there. It's got all sorts of things in that one. And I counted the Marklands and E is Evil as one. You can't really have one without the other, right? You really should have. You got to have both. Those were the 3 I said. I would take those 3 over to From the Ashes. I could get away without having the From the Ashes, but those are the. If I had to pick those, it would be those 3. So that was just that came up in discussion. I know, like I said, we're going to be bouncing around here without notes. So, Mark, out of all the areas we have, I know what your favorite is. There's a Selenian symbol that, the Protectors of Selene. Like I said, Selene is not isolationist and has never been in our world and never will be. Okay, go, Mark. What's your favorite? I know what it is.
I mean, Shieldlands, of course, is going to be my favorite because I have a lot of vested interest in it. But honestly, I think that where the Selenian one has, I think, probably the most intrigue in it because there's a lot of stuff that goes on with it that really has a lot of influence over what we do in Altamira, as well as what we actually do on the edge of the Pomarch. A lot of the Sus Forest Watch. If I remember correctly, aren't Corellan's arrows in that area as well?
Corellan's arrows are based out of Greyhawk now because they remember in the From the Ashes box set. That's where they actually first appear, and we have it so that the Corellan's arrows, some of them feels spurned by the Sis Forest Watch because remember, there's only 12 members of the Selenian Sis Forest Watch.
Right.
And 10 of them, most of them are upper nobility, some are lesser nobility, and then they leave one spot for someone, an elf from Welkwood, and one human that they deem worthy to join them. And that's the 12. And they won't expand beyond 12. So there's a lot of antipathy there. They're kind of like the Dunedain of the Selenians. They're patrolling all up and down the Jewel River. That was the idea behind it. And we'll go over those personalities in a future Gabbin show. That'd be a good one. Sir Kevel and Baron Desley and all those guys.
Yep.
There's some good characters there. But we had a lot of battles early on in Selene with the Order of Ulek. Selene got slaughtered multiple times. A lot of wars with Macrash was in effect, and the Order of Ulek saved Selene time and time again. So they're the top ally of the Order of Ulek. If you go into how close the relationship is, Lady Ralta Yolande of Selene is the 84th member inducted into the Order of Ulek as an honorary member. Second one. She wasn't the first. Number 24 is who would be her heir, even though he's from another family. He's a made-up character of mine. He's a half-elf. His name's Duke Wilborn, right, Mark?
Yep.
Duke Wilborn actually married one of the Winchesters, Elaine Winchester, and so who knows what that kind of wrench that throws into things. But he's a straight fighter, half elf gray, 24th inductee into the Order of Ulek. He's an honorary member as well. So that's 2 out of 5. Now another one who's a Selenian, not a native Selenian, is who? Honorary. Not a native gray elf, not native Selenian, but in Selene now.
Oh, Bernmart.
Britomart, good job. And this is one of those new 3D paint job, 3D figures that Walt got for Britomart here. So, well, she deserves a place by herself, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, she is the violet-eyed lady.
Yes. There is a bar in Altamira, our town, named after this character, the violet-eyed lady. So Britomart is a 16th level cavalier, not elven, straight cavalier. She's from the elven realms over in Sundi, but her family traits tree goes all the way back to Selene. She has brought in her house, which was destroyed in Tale as one of the 10 noble houses, and she's back here trying to rebuild it up. She was an Order of Ulek member, and then she said because of her loyalty to what she was doing in Selene, she wanted to become more of an honorary member, and I allowed that with Walt's character. So that's 3 of them for Selenian.
Well, she became Selene's protector for a while too, wasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. We just designated her as the champion of Selene from the Order of Ulek. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And Carlos had a question. So he's asking about the lawlessness between the Bandit Kingdoms and the Lawful Good Society of the Shieldlands. So I would say, honestly,
yeah. Go ahead, Mark. Take this one.
The way that I see the Shieldlands actually functioning, and I've done this with the group that I'm actually starting, is that a lot of the petty nobles that had taken over are long gone. There are still a few that are out there, but they don't have as much power as the way that they used to. And so they have really come down to, you're seeing a lot of hope and a lot of, for lack of a better term, people that are really more down to earth, because they have been dragged through so much in the past couple decades that you're seeing more of a humble type of people that are really dealing with just life in general and being able to survive and survivalists. And so effectively, there's not a lot that goes on borderland-wise between the Bandit Kingdoms and the Shieldlands. Who knows? Maybe Will and I will get together and we'll do a joint effort, considering all his stuff is in the Bandit Kingdoms and I'm doing stuff in the Shieldlands myself.
Well, Will just expanded to Greyhawk Adventures. He expanded himself out of it. He's going to be doing a lot in the Bandit Kingdom still. You're forgetting, Mark. You're forgetting the mega adventure before we did From the Ashes with the Bandit Kingdoms at Fortress Elendar. It was Bandit Kingdoms unit troops that came into the Shieldlands that we did before. So we have done something, but it was a way off.
Yeah. Well, and I wasn't actually there for it, which was kind of interesting. So when a lot of the troops came into the Shieldlands, most of the refugees, a good amount of them, actually escaped to the Gradavis estate, and is kind of the catalyst behind David being king in the Shieldlands, one of the oligarchs. Simply because the fact that a lot of the people that were there saw that there were the petty nobles really weren't helping them, and so David, being a native Shieldlander, cared about the people himself, and that's what mattered most. So, so yes, I will say that a good majority of it is lawful good. It, is what the Shieldlands is really about, but it's not. I think that the influx of maybe what the Fultians, because there's a big Fultus contingent that also is still in that area, kind of lends itself to kind of a little bit of infighting, I would say.
And I have a way of really making dicks in organizations as NPCs. So you have Randall White and Chet Bluegrass. I talk about it right in this article that's up posted now. They reveal a current situation in the Shieldlands. This is an actual adventure. The module I'm talking about that we did, the events before David Gradavis' wedding. I believe it's number 823. You can get it. It's on YouTube, all the old vids, because it goes way back. I think it goes back to when you were here in last June or July. Yeah. So I have it that the Knights of the Holy Shielding still haven't learned their lesson, Carlos. So a lot of them are still lawful neutral types, and he's not king. He says king, but he's not. There's an oligarchy. There's an oligarchy of 3, and they are not subjugated to Furiandi anymore, Carlos. They in our game, no. Because of the breakup and all, they are not.
They're independent.
They're independent in our world completely. We'd rather have it that way. And that brings us. Hey, as you're talking about that, so let's talk about that. That is a great. No, you're gonna like this even more. What happens in Temple of Elemental Evil?
Oh, well, there's tons of stuff, but the big thing is that we get.
Cover your ears if you don't want to hear this, guys. Okay, cover your ears if you do not want to hear this. In Temple of Elemental Evil, someone got kidnapped before he got married, and go.
Yeah, the king of Furiandi, Voluna, the prince of Furiandi. Yeah, Thrommel.
Prince Thrommel gets kidnapped, and you don't know whatever happened to him. All these years go by. It's only mentioned in the folio, right? And then you go, what the hell happened to this guy? You get down to the 3rd level of the Temple of Elemental Evil, and there's a vampire in a case, right? Just lying there. And of course, it's a trap set. So they want you to go in there, and they want you to just kill the vampire. It's actually, an illusion. It's actually Thrommel in suspended animation. So when we first ran this in 86, 87, and this counts characters like Andre Winchester, Elaine Winchester, David Gradavis.
The
second, yes, who's now one of the oligarchs. Ace Broadhead and Tom the Vindicator, right? I mean, we had a lot of these characters you may have heard about now popping in and out. They were like legendary characters in our campaign now. They free Thrommel, and Thrommel has the final word sword Fragarax. Well, Thrommel gets free and goes and becomes king of, like he's supposed to in our world. Marries Jolene of Voluna, and so there's Furiandi Voluna. Now, we kind of keep them separate on the map, but, it's a large entity. The Order of the Heart's very strong. So that actually happens in our campaign. So he is number 85, right after Lady Ralta Celine, honorary member of the Order of Ulek. King Thrommel of Furiandi Voluna, 15th level Cavalier Paladin. Human male, honorary knight. So he's on our list of honorary knights. And they have a great relationship. Such a great relationship did he have with the Dark Elf Devitt, Walt's character, Fighter Cleric Thief. He made her the head of his Light Horse Brigade, his Rapid Strike Force. He also, if you know anything about the that adventure, it is Fragrak. Another one, final word short, you get to get one in the adventure, and she got it. But something, of course.
Lost it.
She lost it.
And then got another one, didn't she? If I remember correctly?
In canon, do you remember who was responsible for the kidnapping of Thrommel in canon? It might have no bearing in the Ulek campaign. It was an inside job, wasn't it? Something, Carlos, like that? I've heard rumors about it. That's a good question.
I would say it was members of the Scarlet Brotherhood. I thought.
Oh God, I hope not. The Scarlet Brotherhood had nothing to. Scarlet Brotherhood had nothing to do with the Temple of Elemental Evil. Who, Carlos? I do not know. I thought it was like an inside job by someone that close to him. So we'll see what Carlos says on this. Yeah, see, I'm close. Mark's close. Scarlet Brotherhood. Oh, Mark's close.
I'm close. Yeah.
See, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a specific group, and I don't remember off the top of my head. That's why I said I thought it was members of the Scarlet, because From the Ashes, the Scarlet Brotherhood is everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they end up killing all sorts of people all over the place, but I don't remember specifically.
And for all of you who are watching and don't know Carlos, Carlos is another old school DM, and he's doing a Niron. See that? Wow. Oh, because of power. Okay.
Right.
That's craziness, man. I see. Why would they put him in a Temple of Elemental Evil? This doesn't make. It's one of those things that who knows why things happen. Yeah. Craziness, dude. Carlos is doing and we're going to talk about this at the end of the night, and I'm going to be playing in the Carlos game next Friday night. Carlos is going to do his first ever stream on CSL Entertainment next Friday night, and for charity, and only 2 hours long, and I'm going to be playing in it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be cool. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We had a lot of stuff to announce at the end of the night. So, King Thrommel is in our game now, and another honorary member, and that gave more power and more, they were all Order of Ulek characters that had done that. So it was a big thing. It was a huge thing in our campaign, and I'll say that the influence of it after that point, it started spreading out beyond that. I mean, that was one of the biggest catalysts that happened. And then the box set came out for Greyhawk, and we started, hey, let's do some Greyhawk City Adventures. And Mark's correct. A lot of those characters were not Knight of Ulek characters, but like the Iron Brigade has a lot of Knight of Ulek characters, particularly because there's 2 Winchesters, 3 if you count Milana. So let me pop them up real quick here. I'll go back to those in a second. So we and everyone saw Saturday night what happened when we the Order of Ulek headquarters is the old Knight of the Holy Shielding headquarters, and the Order of Ulek bought it from them when they went bankrupt during the wars, sold it back half to them, and there's a line down the middle. We all heard that story multiple times. But we had
commissioned Bill to actually do
that would be pretty funny, man, if you ever could do that. That would be a blast. Now I know I have Corellia out. Oh, there she is. All right. So what we have done, and let's talk about the hierarchy now. This is a good point to talk about it. We got so spread out with characters. We had a base structure, and you join at 6th level. You can't get initiated. It's called apprentice. You cannot get initiated into knighthood until you make your lord status of whatever level you are or whatever class. Normally for fighter it's 9th, but for like thief it's 10th, mage it's 10th, right? It's based on that number. You can't become an officer in anything and do anything of a higher than normal adventuring until you become that knight status. As we spread out doing all these other things, we had 5 or 6 knight officers, and it went down the list. They went Gazumba was first, and then from the G series, one of my favorite NPCs of all time, it's written down fucking Hottie Peak, right? Because he's just a major pain in the ass, and he's kind of like the instigator of troubles, but he's like good at diplomacy. He never really goes on adventures. He just diplomacy all over the place. And then after that, there were some others, but now it's Andre Winchester. Hey, Brian, good to see you, man. So Brian came on. We're going to talk about something with Brian at the end of the night, too, we have going on. I mentioned it last week, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well with Brian coming on. So there's only 3 top officers in the Order of Ulek. You know how they had these listings in the one folio about like Commander Banneret and all that? We never knew what they meant. I still don't know what those mean, but
Yeah.
I use those. So you have at one point you have Knight Commander is Gazumba, Knight Banneret the first is Funkinati Peak, and the second one's Andre Winchester. From that point on, we had a couple others down, and it just didn't make sense. It didn't serve any purpose.
The Night Bachelor series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Carlos, that one. So someone remembers Funkinati Peak. Funkinati Peak has been in our game since the first time we ever ran G. It's got to be 81. Yes, Funkin has been an NPC I played. I've probably run him in 1 or 2 adventures only in that whole time frame, but yes. He's the second in command of the Order of Ulek, Carlos, right behind Gazumba himself. Because Hawk never wanted anything to do. Hawk was he
was a free spirit.
He was an officer for a little bit, and he kept on. He's like, I've had enough of this. I retire from it. Yeah. So I'll take a character that's published somewhere and run with it all the time. And Mark and I both agree, Carlos. Another one, Volderessa Sharn should have never been killed off by Carlos. Yeah. I'm sorry. We love that character. That character did not die in our world. It's probably the number one.
Harder, we never had a problem with. He was a jackass.
He's still around, but it's just we don't really use him. But that's the number one of another published character we use a lot. So, Rox, we got so much great stuff coming up. I'm so guys, thank you so very much for the huge outpouring of watching tonight. Thank you. Feel free, any of you, feel free to ask any question, no matter how silly you think they may be. Carl's come up with some great ones. Please do. We're bouncing all over the place. I knew this was going to happen, but that's cool. The Order of Ulek is really hey Mojo, good to see you, man. So another sidebar. So I'm sitting on the beach, and I have all these people who are friends of mine on Facebook, and I get a bing, that Facebook Messenger, and it's a guy I haven't recognized his name. I know I friended him recently, and he asked me a lot of questions. What module would you start off with if you had a choice of any of them? And so I said, well, I like L1. I like Secret of Bone Hill, and I know Brian's doing this. You want L1, you two, L2, and mixing them all up. And I took the L's and I put them out of in Restenford, moved it from London Isle to north of Saltmarsh. And I said, by the way, who are you? And he goes, oh, it's I Am Mojo. And I was like, oh my God, dude, did you say, hey, it's Mojo? I didn't know that. So yes. But yeah, Sprocket, love Bone Hill. And hey, Bill, good you be on there. Why are there so many Winchesters? Because you hate them. That's why, Bill. There are a ton. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a Gabbin just on the Winchesters if you keep it up. So yeah, good. That's great, man. Mojo, I'm glad to see that you. We talked a bit. I'm sitting on the beach. I'm not doing anything. I'm hanging out. I'm getting some. I'm on the beach under an umbrella. In the Gulf of Mexico, and we just started talking back and forth about stuff. So Mojo, I really appreciate that chat. I think it was Friday that we had that chat, and that was cool. So Naz, absolutely.
There's some really good commentary there.
So we got to the point where what do we do with the officer structure? It's kind of stupid. 6 or 7 officers were not doing anything. And I don't know who came up with the idea. I don't know if I did or Bill or you, Mark, or we all did all in combination. I'm not going to take credit for this. But we have all these locations that we do stuff in, and we decided to create spheres of influence with officers. And, I know. Leonard's not going to watch the show, Carlos, so we don't have to worry about that we moved it out. But it fits perfectly in that Saltmarsh area, north of Saltmarsh. If it's put Restenford right there, it's perfect. So I know Brian and I were talking about that when Brian started up his campaign too. And this is a way to get more player characters involved, right? So we picked the 4 areas that we're most active in. And of course, now I can't do it again. Hold on. Oh, man, it's painful. Whoops, I moved the wrong thing. So I can get to it. All right. Main Order of Ulek symbol. This covers Ulek, all 3 Ulek states, and the Pomarz border. Okay, that symbol. Number 1. That's area of influence number 1. and that's the main symbol. Number 2, Selene. Covers Greater Selene, Welkwood, the Sus, both sides all the way down to the border where Altamira is, okay? That is this area of influence, and some Wild Coast areas. That's the area of influence for Selene, too. Free City of Greyhawk covers Greyhawk, surrounding lands, Cairn Hills, Hardby, surrounding lands, the whole area. Free City, Greyhawk area of influence. You would think, oh, Order of Ulek doesn't have a lot of influence. There's a lot of influence in there from all the stuff they've done on adventures. So it's not, major, but there is influence there. 4th area, Vestvi Forest, High Folk. The entire Vestvi Forest and the Free City of High Folk and the Valley of the High Folk. That's a big enough area on its own. Probably the least area that we do a lot of stuff in, but there's still a presence up there. Okay. And the last one, of course, Shieldlands. Covers all the Shieldlands. Fighting against the Free Reavers, fighting against Ias, fighting to the east, northern near Deve. Those are the 5 areas of influence that we have. Brian Blumklotz, we did a Gabbin show where we showed all these. Thank you so much again, Brian. And so he did some great work embedding our main symbol, which he created as well, into our shields. And I'm so thankful for it. It gives us some really cool pizzazz to our story. Yep. So those are the 5 areas. Yes. Okay. So Bill says it started in the area around in the 90s. I think it started later than that, Bill. I think it started like, if it's 90s, it's like 98. I don't think it's mid 90s. I think it's later 90s. I really think when we made the switch. But it was, it was a combination of everyone discussing it. So every area has a CO, a commanding officer, which is one rank below the Andre Winchester, and an XO, and which is an executive officer, so that there's some discussions, decisions that can be made on the fly, for what needs to be done as far as the campaign goes. That adds 10 more officers to the Order of Ulek, and I think it's been very successful.
Yep. And I'd like to add, they are officers that are in the main Order of Ulek, but they're really, in my opinion, I think that they fall to be a lot more of like ambassadors to those areas than anything else. I mean, they have the Order of Ulek interests as at the top. But effectively that they function just to add some assistance, and so because obviously the Order of Ulek is extraordinarily rich, and they have long-reaching arms to be able to help.
Bill says it was before we did Return of the Eight, which was I think 97, Bill, because 98 is when I moved into the second house, but it was 97 or 98. Okay, I thought it was after that, but. That shows you how much of a sieve of memory I have. So if we go to one of those territories, we go to the Greyhawk City, right? As an example, Corellia Crakesbone was a player character of the other Bill. She's a dual class human, paladin / especially priestess of Uko. We do a lot of dual classing on humans, and she became kind of cloistered. She was in the Iron Brigade too. If anyone saw the Saturday night roleplay part of our mega stream at the finale, she hates Shieldlanders, right? But she's a member of the Iron Brigade still. But she's the main liaison to the Order of Ulek in Greyhawk City. Then Alan's character Milana, who was on the actual adventure, Knight of Ulek class character, went up, on that adventure. She's the XO in the Greyhawk area. So that gives. Well, it used to be 2 player characters, but now an NPC and a player character in that area. And there's a lot of knight characters in that area, and they could be in adventuring parties. They could be passing through. If you remember, she declared right there in that meeting that anyone who was a knight that was in that meeting was going on that adventure against, a Miracle of the Chaotic to get the Orb of Dragonkind off of him. So that was. Well, feel free to ask away, Carlos. You're asking some good ones, so I really appreciate it. But so that is Greyhawk. Greyhawk's area of influence. Celine is up, and I think I showed him real quick, but Temporal, which is Mark's character, fighter
Yep.
cleric.
Yes.
Right, and look at this. I mean, the symbol Celine is right on the map, right on her. That's pretty cool. I know what the focus is out. And then another NPC, especially pieces of Soul and Earthlandera, Jacia, she's second. I could have someone else take it over. It's another disliked NPC. Bill hates the character. In fact, has a really nasty name for her instead of Jacia. So you can just imagine. I have not really given. She hasn't done much on streams. You haven't seen her, but it's a typical JNPC that can be kind of annoying. But yeah, so that's that area, and there's the Greyhawk one up. I think I got them all out. We have Shieldlands, Railstone Gradivis, who was on that adventure last Saturday too, and that's Mark's, and that's David's uncle. Dual class in the opposite of what David is, and then Jelaine Chaucer, who's an NPC. She's just a straight cavalier. And I know this could be there's like 2 figures for one character of another player character, NPC of mine. Those are the 2. I wish it would focus, but I'm having trouble.
Oh, so Carlos, you're asking. I'm assuming which character are you talking about? Temporal, or are you talking about Railstone? He says, "How long did you play that character during the campaign?" Well, if you're talking about Railstone, so Railstone is a character that I've had. He was the very first paladin I ever played. So
Temporal. He's asking Temporal.
So Temporal.
So
Temporal actually started in something that I ran many years ago as a teenager. It's actually where Britomart and Lena came from as well. That's why they're heavily connected. But yeah, she got involved. I want to say probably in campaign years. I want to say it's been at least 20 years that she got involved. And her real claim to fame is that yes, she is she's the commanding officer for Celine, but she also runs an amphitheater in East Vesper that is there. And the fun part about it is that she created a flesh golem. She got a manual of golems and created a flesh golem that is an extra.
Yeah, it's hysterical. See on the map here where the Ordeal Shield is? See directly northeast Vesper? That was added in. That's a city of ours with an amphitheater. That's all Mark's doing. And and Anna put it on the map. That's a town, and that's but where she's based out of.
Yeah,
brilliant stuff. Brilliant ideas.
Yeah, there's a crescent moon building that is there that is a temple to Corella Lerthian, who she worships. No, it's not Young Frankenstein.
Dr.
Although that
Frankenstein.
on a couple of occasions.
That was just on the other night, man. That's so hysterical. So, what did you end up getting?
She's a real fun character. She's actually a lot more of a utility character. Very, very old school. I mean, we're going back to prior to specialty priests.
Fighter cleric, old school fighter cleric.
Old school fighter cleric.
So she just recently adventured when we did Attack on Winchester's Bulwark in September, when the secret army of the Earthnal army came across and attacked the Winchester's Keep, and they called for all these characters, and we got 8 or 9 Knight of Yule characters to defend it, including, and if we had Mark had his member, what's his from the Prince.
Oh yeah, Arden.
Arden the Vanquisher. She is the character that flew. They had a trebuchet, and you saw that. I got an MBA Miniature Building 30 trebuchet, and they were launching in full trolls into. Hi, they were launching full trolls in to the keep. Nice, dude. Nice. They're launching full trolls into the keep, and she flew out invisibly, and she sovereign glued it together, and that was the end of that. So. She was on that adventure, so he still plays her. When Mark ever has an opportunity to play that character, he plays her.
Oh yeah, and her other big thing is that she is madly in love with Gazumba, and in many cases, just he's still kind of mourning his wife, Cyrene, if I remember correctly.
Yes, she was sphere of annihilated.
Yes.
And it was a long time ago in the campaign. But and then going out with someone like Lena really, really
That messed
gives
him
you a
up.
downer.
Yeah.
So sorry, Walt, again. So thank you very much. Wow, 69 24/7.
Like it.
Awesome. Yes, Carlos, and that's the thing. We have characters that are 9th level that are 35 years old. So, and I'll give you an example. We went through this list. Tom, who didn't play for a while, we always go, who has the character on this? This is an order of your look list. Good question there, Carlos. I'll put this up here. See this list of all the ranks? Look, there's an apprentice in the very top. Right here, there's an apprentice. See it?
Yeah.
8th level paladin. It's one of Tom's characters, Pellinor the Golden. He's 8th level. He was inducted into the Order of Ulek as an apprentice 30. Oh my gosh, more than that. 593 through 635.
Wow.
42 years ago in game time. And he's still, he hasn't played him. Yeah, so, I mean, that happens sometimes. Yeah, say what? We'll take it, man. Absolutely. So, we don't Monty Hall characters, but we bounce around a lot, and that happens sometimes. But Tom has really just gotten back into play. He'll be playing Pellinor again soon, I promise you. Promise you that. So, if we look at some the other area that it's suspect is the Vespi, and I wanted to bring this up that we may make a change here because John hasn't been playing much. So Branwen, which is John's character, she's a knight character. He has the figure, so I can't show it to you. And we're going to talk about the Vespi Forest a lot in depth next week. But you have Jonar Doombug, who's a half-orc fighter cleric, and you have Rael, who's Jacia's younger sister. Okay, and that's why Shashar Scorn Bill was saying, oh yeah, she treats her sister meanly, and she's a fighter cleric too. She's a fighter cleric of Hanali Selenol, and I forget who he's a fighter cleric of. Bill, who's he a fighter cleric of? But he made an alliance out in the Vespi Forest for the with the Torch of Grumsh, which we're going to talk about a lot, to fight the Uzians, which is a brilliant move. And there's one keep out there. If you see the Beastman Forest map up here, see the Eagle's Nest? That is a keep by a character named Alinor, and a lot of stuff we do is based out of. So we didn't do much edits to this map, but that's way out in the middle of the Vespi Forest. And that's where the Order of Ulek kind of does their thing up in the Vespi and the High Folk area. Jonar's love is Rael, absolutely. So Jonar had a wish. He's a half-orc. He made a wish that whenever Rael's around, he looks like he's half-elfin. So that, the things you do for love, right?
Yes.
So absolutely. Yes. Pellinor if you only disbelieved. All right, so here comes Carlos is asking some great questions, guys. I really appreciate this tonight, Carlos. Long lived, you've seen many developments of the game during the course of your game. For issues of Dragon to Arcana and even totally new rule sets. What's up? Okay. How do we retroactively adjust characters? It's a great question, and it's difficult, but I'm going to give you the last example that this happened. Two things happen at once. We've all heard about the comet. You've all seen the comet in Mark's ad for our mega stream. In the very first pick, the comet's going across the sky. That took care of items, but as far as when 3rd edition came out, 3.5 came out, we liked the feat system. And we're like, how are we going to do this? So I came up with the idea. Look at Brian, asking Mr. 27. Carlos, I came up with this idea. Let's expand proficiencies. So fighters get 1, 4, 7, 10. Never liked it. We went to fighters 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Start with 4. You get to went 3rd, 5th. We made a list of proficiencies, feats that we made into proficiencies, and added them in to our list here. So now what we did was every time you played a character or you got around to it, you were able to add and change out for a one-time only deal your proficiency list to add some of these things like blind fighting, two-fisted fighting we always had, monkey grip on large weapons, dirty fighting, overpower, mounted combat, battle touch, mass taunt. Mass taunt we just added recently. So kind of when we reincorporate a rule that we like, Carlos, it's over in phases. It's as we play characters. There's still some characters that have not been feat changed, proficiency changed. There's still characters. In fact, Tim just played on Saturday night. He hadn't done it for Leuven, so we had to do it. So it still works that way.
Yeah, So when we actually did do that, so there were also some limits too. So when Carlos is mentioning like double specialization, so some of the limits that we put on that, for one, double specialization you couldn't do at first level, as opposed to what the Unearthed Arcana had.
Single.
So that was something you could take at fourth, and we also limited it to straight fighters.
Thanks, Tom. I'm preaching.
You also could have. According to the rules, you could have rangers specialize in weapons, but they weren't allowed double specialization either.
And no multiple attacks for theirs.
Correct, and that was some of the other things too. To also try to, and it was straight fighters, never multi-class or anything.
Yeah, they don't get it. They don't even get specialization.
I'd say the other thing that also came into play that I would add is the concept of two-handed weapons or secondary weapons with strength bonus was another one that also came into play. I want to say it was a 3 or 3-5 rule where you get 1.5 times your strength bonus with a two-handed weapon and half your strength bonus and damage. We're talking with a offhand weapon.
It's a great question, and it really it melds into everything we've been doing. So even into the Order of Ulek whole as a whole. We noticed some things as we were playing over the years. Certain classes were disappearing. No one was playing straight fighter, and we had to figure out how to reinvigorate the class. People were playing multi-class fighters still. Fighter mages were huge, right? Yeah. Fighter thieves were huge, but we had to figure out. So we decided that 2 things. You can't fighters still can't double specialize in two-handed swords. They can't double specialize in pole arms. Only the Saxon class can do that. They can't double specialize in missile or whatever.
But never at first level.
But we gave them back. We stole this from World of Warcraft. At 4th level, straight fighters get battle shout and demoralizing shout. It's a free +1 to hit. Anyone within 10 feet. It's kind of like a rally cry thing. Free action or demoralizing shout against your enemy. Straight fighters only. So we added something to them. Then we did the things with two-fisted fighting was getting too out of hand. And Mark brought up, if you had 18, like 28 strength, you're +3 in your secondary hand. We made your secondary hand damages half now, round down. That took care of that. We've done 1.5 times. No one was playing. Then no one was playing two-handed weapons anymore. So we made strength 1.5 times strength in a two-handed weapon, a cleaving massive two-handed weapon. We did all that stuff to fix balance. Yes. So Bill brings it up. There's limits to it. We've worked on all that. It's a great idea, Carlos. So if I don't have a guest in 2 weeks, next week we'll do Vespi. I already posted it. If I don't have a guest in 2 weeks, I may have a guest. If I don't have a guest in 2 weeks, I will do the evolution of our proficiency system. It's a great one. What do you think, Mark? Good one to do?
Yeah, I think
we'll do that.
We've actually done one before, but
right.
But we can go a lot more in depth.
Yeah, I think we can do a little more in depth into it and show what we've done for spellcasters too in that one. So that's a good. It'll be a great one to do.
Yeah, and I'll add to it that the proficiencies that we actually have are not just designed for fighters. Like Joe was mentioning, like spellcasters as well. There's a lot of things that are in there that are really great in that regards. Yeah. Like extra spell slot is a fantastic one.
And straight mages get it free at 3rd.
Yeah.
So they get a bonus proficiency and they get an extra spell slot, which means if they have, like, remember, third level, they're 2-1 on spells. That should be 3-1. You can always take the lowest next level, not to your highest, an extra spell slot. So if you can cast 5th level spells, you can take an extra spell slot, 1 only, 4th or 3rd or 2nd or 1st. Normally everyone takes 4th. Maybe you want our fireball. So,
Yep.
Well, Carlos, I'll have you over someday. Maybe you'll come to PAX Unplugged this year and we'll have a fun night out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
you make it down to the one down in Columbus, because you're kind of in my backyard
yeah,
too.
Mark has all the stuff he uses as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so good questions, guys. Really good questions. So we got to the point. Excellent. We'll make that a date between Carlos and Mark. We'll get that set up.
Yep.
We got to the point where we were all spread out all over the place, and we wanted to keep the Order of Ulek involved in the game. So the area of influence came up with the hierarchy, and we decided, let's do this and let's set up these officers. And it gave almost everyone had one, except for Bill. So I'm thinking in this area that Joan, if you may fill in the slot for Branwyn coming up. If John's not, because John was here on Saturday night. It was great to see John again, but we're not sure how active John's going to be, so we may just slip Branwyn out and move someone else into that position, non-NPC, obviously. As you go down the list, and then we decided with all the knights, there's things we can do beyond this, and so we got to the point where Bill came up with this great idea, and I love, we all love this idea, and so we did this. By the way, this chart up here is the year they were inducted into the Order of Ulek on the right, and it's hard to cut and paste it into the scroller, so I only put a small bit up of it, and the ones that are bolded are officer types. So thanks, Bill.
And actually, Jay, there's one more that we need to go after with Brian, because we also have a knight officer at the Pomarge in Garth Warmonger, and we don't have a shield for that one yet.
Yeah, we do. The main one, Brian, we decided, because it's in the area of originality. It's the same as the Order of Ulek symbol. Yes. Yeah, good point. I talked it over with Brian Blumklotz, but he said, as far as heraldry goes, that area should be the same as the main Order of Ulek one, and I agreed with him. That's his symbol. So let's talk about our main campaign that we've been doing for the most part of the time now, that you've seen the last weeks. And you all know there was an invasion force we did back in September, and then we turned this into a winter scene, right? And we're talking about this, Winchester's Bulwark. And we started a whole new group of firsts, and I've rolled characters in and out of that. And so Garth Warmonger, who's Alan's, he has Warmonger's Tower, which Carlos wrote that adventure for us, which is so nicely placed right there at Warmonger's Tower, Mushroom Blue. And then his second in command was appointed, he didn't like this, but I did this just to all of yous, was Marion Winchester, the Water Elementalist. Emerson Winchester's sister, and the fallen from Grace Paladin Cavalier, who's dead now, who saved David Gradivus, Emerson Winchester III. So, but she's a Water Elementalist, and she's second in command. So throw another Winchester into the mix at Winchester's Bulwark. Winchester's Bulwark is Andre Winchester's Keep. We've been running a lot of adventures from here. This was Bill's idea. So Bill came up with this idea. His character, Aylwin, who's in the Reborn, was 8th level. Came here, he fought in the defense of this keep back in September, and then decided to form a new unit. The last adventure, Mushroom Blue, that Carlos wrote for us, was the first adventure for the first Ulek Pathfinders. Okay, so this is kind of a sub-organization that Bill has. It's another Winchester surprise. So he is now bringing in a new aspect into the Order of Ulek, which we, of course, talked about beforehand, and that's Aylwin, his character. In the adventure Back to the Battle Site, Aelwyn went with his adventuring group, mercenary group, the Reborn, fought a bunch more of Earthnal followers that were back at that old battle site where they formed in the first place. He got his 9th level. He got inducted with the collar chain, and then he immediately, Gazumba and Funkin really made him a special leader. So he's now considered another CO of the first Ulek Pathfinders. And it's a group that's going to be kind of like the Sleem Sus Forest Watch. It's going to be, however, Bill, I wish Bill was on tonight, but he couldn't make it. Sorry, he had an in-law thing for him to discuss this group, but it's more of a vagabondish group. So he's allowing neutrals in his group, which we're fine with. So this is another expansion into what the Order of Ulek is doing. Mark, you want to take up a little bit on this, like what you've seen about it so far?
Yeah, so the majority of the group is really around battling stuff that is specifically around the Pomargine area. Like some of the characters are from the area directly. So I know I have one that's specifically from Welkwood. There's a few that are from Selene as well, and a couple characters that are all just kind of from different areas of Greyhawk. But effectively, what their intent is to be part of the Pathfinders, to do kind of the dirty work, if you will.
Exactly, that's what Bill just said.
Yeah, as Bill just mentioned.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
But effectively, yeah, doing the things that are a little bit on the edge but still need to be done. And so this group is full of not what you would consider the typical goody-goody knight types of characters. Actually, they're I think of them also as more like a mercenary band, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of types that go about and take care of business in the seedier things that need to be done that maybe the knighthood wouldn't necessarily, for lack of a better term, sully themselves with.
And it was a brilliant idea. I love the way it expanded out on, and there's Warmonger's Tower, but guys, Bill's working on this still, getting that done. Okay, so that's in progress. It was a great idea, and like I said, I really take the input of everyone, and we ran with it so far, and I think the first adventure went off well. Combine that with it was a 3-bagger, brand new idea that was run for the first time. Carlos wrote an adventure for us that fit right into it, right? And Tim played on it, right? I mean, play testing the scout he's doing.
And perfect timing, the Cheater 20 came up with, specific to Jay, of course.
Yes. Well, we're getting 2 more emotes, one next month, one in May, and that's the next one. Brian Sublime created it for us. It's either going to be called Jay's Cheating Die or Jay's Cheating Again or something like that. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that'll be our next emote for you guys. So don't forget, we got 3 emotes that you can use now. Any sub, the Rest in Peace, my Wahhead, and the Order of Ulek symbol. So it's a great idea that Bill started. He needs an XO. He's weaning it down on the list. Now, he's told me who he wants. I see him on, but I think he's lurking. I saw Walt comment once or twice, so we may bring this up on Thursday, so he has an idea for who he's. Well, Carlos, we're gonna be doing a lot more stuff together in the future, so it's gonna be, you'll be part of it, just like anyone else who contributes. Will add more people into the story, which is a great thing. Yes, we got one more emote, but it won't be till May. This one hasn't been official yet either. It hasn't opened yet. It'll be mid-April probably. When it opens up, I'll pop it right in and get approval on it. So we have a list of characters that have joined. Aelwyn gave a 50 gold bounty on it. So, of course, Fritz Winchester jumped on it, right?
Yep.
Now, not all of Mark's characters jumped on it, right? Ladaden, because she's didn't.
She decided to be associated with it because she's actually part of another group.
Right, and I don't think Zoriana did either.
Correct. And Sophia did not either.
Yeah, okay. And I think all the Toms
did. Philip jumped on it immediately.
Yeah, Philip jumped on it immediately. I'm not sure if all a D did or not. I forget about that. 2 of the 3 NPCs did. The bounty hunter mage did not yet, remember, because she's kind of off doing her own thing for the most part.
Right.
So yeah, so there's a group of guys that did not do that. That's it. Now it's up to Bill Azalin how that works out, because the Bloodied Brethren, the adventure group we have now, if that's what we're calling them, I'm just calling them for the sake of calling them a name, guys. If you change it, so be it. Don't all have to. There'll be Bloody Brethren adventures. There'll be First Look Pathfinders adventures. That's the way we do. It's the way we've always done it, though, where there's stuff that's for the Order of Ulek. Adventuring groups may go, and then there's stuff for the adventuring group itself, just to get fame, fortune, and money. 50 gold is 50 gold, dude. Fritz, that's a lot of enemas for Fritz. So, or however you may want to look at that. So that's the latest add-on to our Order of Ulek. I need to get with Brian Blumklotz. We have a he's going to work on some more heraldry for us. He's going to work on the Free City of Altamira, and he's going to work. I'm going to ask him to work on the First Ulek Pathfinder symbol as well, because that really should have its own symbol of some sort. So Bill needs to come up with some ideas for that as well. For it's going to have the Order of Ulek symbol somewhere in it, but have the Pathfinder's symbol as well. And so that's one of the newer things we've done. But we've done a lot of work. We've done a lot in the Shieldlands lately, a lot. We're going to be going back there. We've done a lot in Greyhawk. I mean, just look at the last Saturday night stream was Adventure 847. And taking down Emrakul the Chaotic. I made that as a numbered adventure for us. That was an Order of Ulek part adventure that we did, and it was successful. And we had some people who weren't on it, but that's the way. It's always a mix of characters, and we always have stuff going on now here. Vespi, we're going to start up a little bit, but the first adventure is going to be non-Order of Ulek. It's going to be a druidic thing that people want to play because we haven't played them in a while.
Yep.
So
that's going to be a lot of fun. And
yeah.
If you have the opportunity to tune in, there's a lot of fun characters that come.
Well, it's good. It's a really interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that in the last 15 minutes here. I know we got a half hour to go here. So if you look at the listing, characters tend to be in their own adventuring party. Some of them are unassigned. Some of them are in the Altamira pool because we didn't have adventuring groups back then. So you got your list of main players here. Sometimes I'll call a general Knight of Ulek adventure based on the severity of something. And you'll be able to go, I'll be able to say this. I'll say all Knight of Ulek characters of level blah, 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 level 6 to 8. Or members of this adventuring group that are in the order. Or, I'll give some parameters as to who can go on it, and work up a group like that. And occasionally we will do that. We did that for events before David Gradavis's wedding, right? That was the last big one we did it on in the Shieldlands. That was and that was almost unlimited level. I mean, we went up to like 11th, 12th on that. So. I don't understand the question. Oh, okay. Yes. All right. You don't know it? All right. Yeah. We're gonna. Yes. Sorry, guys. Here you go. Sorry. Apologize. All right. Yes. Anytime, dude. Come on anytime. It's Brian. Brian's gonna hop on. Okay, now I understand. Brian's going to hop on. So, in the Order of Ulek, we have it's the standard struggle of good and evil, and detailed wise, there's adventures through our listing, hundreds of them that we've done, massive adventures, a lot of war adventures, a lot of individual taking a module and running it adventure types, but there's been a lot of them we've done over the years, and you look back on it, and like Carlos said, it's pretty amazing. I mean, we're up to 800 and some crazy number for what we were up to. Hey, Brian.
Brian.
Good.
I wasn't sure if you were using the personal number or not.
No,
so.
it's always do. So Brian Sublime, our moderator, everyone knows Brian. Everyone loves Brian. Is going to hop on because we're going to discuss something too in the last 15, 20 minutes. So, we get to the point where you look back and you're like, oh my God, it's a lot of adventuring we've done, but it's a campaign world, and that's. Hey, there's Frank. Hey, Frank, how are you? So, if Praetor's Rejects are still on, 11 Legends of Adventurous are on, any streamer that I kind of do a partnership with and work with, I'll give you guys VIP badges after we're done tonight here. So I got a couple of other sites that follow us off of our mega stream event, and I want them to get them involved too. So I'll be giving them. I'll give you guys VIP. I got a ton of them now, so I'll be giving them to you. Good to see you, Frank.
Sometimes she's not.
We're getting a lot of feedback from your wife, Brian. I can hear her.
Yeah, she was on her. She was so good. She was
A lot. She's so. It sounds like a porn. She was so good. So if you have any questions about the Order of Ulek, let me know. It's your typical good versus evil struggle that we've made in our campaign, and it's just since I was a little kid, since I was 12, 13 years old, I've been running with this idea. It's been 39 years, and it's really evolved and taken a life on its own. I actually had a couple people refer people on Facebook to these articles that I put in the Earth Journal for reference on a new organization that they'll say, we're looking for something that's new and interesting. And I'm actually getting references, and it makes me feel good. I feel bad in a way, Mark. I don't know. I know you and I feel the same way, and I know a couple of our other players don't feel the same way. We kind of hid ourselves from everyone for all these years, and maybe we should have done this earlier, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it for quite a long time, and there was a concern about, I think at the time, it was a concern about people being able to just kind of take and rip off all the things it is that we did. And then it became more about, you know what, who really cares? Because if the information gets out there,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if we ended up making somebody's campaign that much better by something it is that we've actually done, then so be it.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm willing to share almost everything we have with it. I don't, just give us credit that it came from us. I know Rox asked for a lot of stuff and a couple other people, and Naz runs with some things. Even he does 5e, but he runs with some ideas off of it, and I'm great with that. So I know that a lot of some of the hardcore guys say it's not canon, it's way off of canon. But Brian's doing a 5e in a world where all this stuff happened. He even put a note in about the Order of Ulek. It doesn't have to be the main focus. So that's why I don't think it's a big deal. But I know the Cannoneer people are very strict on what's canon and what's not. I don't care. I know you don't care, Mark. I know Bill doesn't care. It's just it's been a happy time. Yes. I drank too much. I had too many margaritas this weekend. So. Okay, so this is what I would do, Carlos. Great question. I'm glad someone asked that. That's kind of where I was leading on this. Don't go with the full gamut of the order. It depends on, for you, Carlos, it depends what you make of it, Bill. You're absolutely right. Carlos, it depends on how much of Living Greyhawk you've implemented. If you did not implement any Living Greyhawk at all, you can immediately put the Order of Ulek in the Principality of Ulek area. Immediately. Because all those border walls, fortresses, and all that are not there. They're gone. You don't have to worry about it. So if you didn't really use Living Greyhawk, it's easy to implement the Order of Ulek in your campaign that way. The influence in the other areas, the main one you really got to worry about is the Shield Lands, because our area there is completely different, from what's going on. That's the one you got to worry about. And maybe you just want to say it's a presence there. It doesn't really affect your Greyhawk City that much, because there's always so much going on in Greyhawk, right?
It also matters the timeline that you're inputting in too. I mean, ours in the Shieldlands is many years after. So
Yeah.
if you're going early on into the timeline for Greyhawk, there's maybe just more rumor than anything else, I would say, in the Ulek states.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even played our first game, but I like Jay said, I intersected you guys in there. There's a little snippet, and some people are already like, "Hey, I'm coming from Ulek." I got a buddy who's already like, "Hey, he's this halfling. I think he's going to halfling berserker type deal, but he's got like inspiration from you guys."
That's beautiful. That makes me so happy, man. And Carlos, it would be an honor to, yeah, exactly, Carlos. It's meant to be anti-canon, but it's whatever's happening in your campaign, so you can implement it. But it's easy for you if you did not implement Living Greyhawk. It's so much easier because Living Greyhawk gets detailed into what has happened in a lot of areas. So if you're a fan of Greyhawk Reborn and what they've done, it's going to be a more difficult because they completely hacked apart Keeland. It's a mess, and we've never had that done with Keeland, except in the War of the Sea Princes, but that was years ago. So there's ways you can do it, and if anyone wants any recommendations, you can bring in some key characters as NPCs. I mean, come on, man, who doesn't love fucking Hottie Peak? And I'd be honored if someone used Gazumba, and you can put a couple characters in and just make liaisons or whatever, have them run stuff. I mean, have them send people on adventures. There's ways of doing it.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, you could have Alan's Keep that never sank.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
So one thing I forgot to mention this little gem right here. This is the Herbie the Dipped figure. See, it's just enamel all over it and in white. Okay. So if we go back to the Principality of Ulek, this is the first keep for a player character after the outposts were built. Where is it? Okay, it's at the top, the White Tower. So if you go due east from Outpost 1, that's where the White Tower is. In a few weeks, we will be there. Now, I looked at this, Bill, and I'm sorry to say, this is too nasty for the levels these guys are at now. So, the Hidden Temple of Erethnal will be based off of the White Tower at Herbie's Keep. We don't have a building for it. It was never built as far as an actual, terrain piece. It says levels 2 to 5. That's BS. You got to be 5th level to run this thing. So we're going to hold off on this for a couple weeks because it's nasty. So we're going to hold off. But that's going to be out of the White Tower, and there's Herbie the Dipped. Okay? So, screw the haters, Carlos. You and I, we had this talk about you. You and I are the old school guys. Mark's an old school guy too. We go until we die, and then whatever happens after that, right?
Yep.
So, so any other questions about just generally the Order of Ulek is our main campaign focus. It's all over the place. It's not. Well, let me just say this: the Knights of the Heart exist. The Knights of the Holy Shielding exist.
Yes, Naz, that is completely true.
And I would assume Order of the Torch, since you told me to put that in my
Fellowship of the Torch is a they exist. It's a mercenary company. Krellin's Arrows exist. In theory, the Knights of Luna exist, but I don't even use them. The Selenian Sus Forest Watch, that knighthood exists in Selene for us. So canon's what you make of it, exactly. And with all the people we have watching tonight, I'm hoping that you get the idea that my campaign may not be what Carlos does, may not be what Brian does, may not be what Naz does or Rox does, but it doesn't matter. That's the way it's supposed to be. So you have fun with it, and you implement stuff here and there. Like, I've implemented already. Anna came to me with Zestra. That idea. I already used her.
Yeah. So one thing I will say, if you do incorporate anything that is from Order of Ulek, much to Brian's chagrin, you have to make sure that you walk around saying, I'm a 10th level character, or I'm a 7th level
character. I have 8 hit points left.
Yes.
I know that drives him nuts.
Oh,
I know that drives him crazy.
You don't even know how much it drives me nuts, so that's the whole thing. Like, you know it drives me nuts, but you don't know the level.
I know. So, some announcements. Let's start with this week real quick. Thursday night. It's posted, the event. Adventure number, I think it's 848. Boy, I better check that. And it's the Defiled Glades Reclaimers. It's the Druid group. It's called Darkwood Heart. This adventure takes place. It starts at the keep, not the keep. This group of druids, and they're not all druids, but there's a lot of druid characters, and it's based on our specialty druid class. And they're going to start in their grove, and everyone knows about the Defiled Glades. There was during the wars a bunch. It's almost like the what's the don't look at the lights and right in Lord of the Rings. What's those swamps called? The Gladden Fields, is that whatever that is? You know, when they're going through
like
the
that,
swamplands,
Yeah,
the vast swamp or whatever. So it's kind of similar to that, and there's all supposedly rumors of these malefic items that made it worse. Well, supposedly, your friend Alosha, who's the Obadiah priestess, the half elf, specialty druid of Obadiah, the tattoo artist, you know her as the one who could do the tattoos for you, does tattoo magic, thinks she's located another one of these malevolent items, and she wants you to get it. Simple. And also the tablets of Obadiah she's looking for, she thinks there's one here as well. And so for every tablet of Obadiah you get for her, she does a tattoo for one of your characters that basically is an innate spell off of them. It's really cool. And that came out of the Relic and Rituals books. We'll talk about that a lot next week as well.
Yep.
So, and this will be a 2-weeker. It starts in their grove, right on the edge of the Defiled Glades. So I'm going to split the party in half. So we'll see how that goes. So that'll be Thursday. Friday night special. Not on my channel, on CSL Entertainment. It's always simple, Bill. It is always simple. Carlos is doing for rescue animals, a fundraiser that starts Friday night. It's a 2-hour adventure. I have the honor of playing in it. Carlos, first time he's going to broadcast on his channel. Hopefully it goes well. Carlos, I really wish you the best of luck, and I'll be there to help you out. Yes. And so he's going to give me a pre-gen character. It's only 2-hour long adventure. It's going to be like from 9, right, Carlos? 9 Eastern to 11 Eastern? Or is it 8? Just tell me what times it is so everyone we can know, and I'm going to push that. Well, let me know what time it starts. And is it 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.? I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that'll be Saturday night.
9 to 11. And also let us know how we can donate, too.
Yes, well, he should be setting up a donate. He's not an affiliate. This will be his first broadcast. There'll be a donate button. I showed him how to do the donate button. If not, Carlos, surely will give us an address to send something. So, so please, guys, if you want to have a little fun on a Friday, you got nothing else going on, you want to see me play, I'll be playing in Carlos's game. Next Sunday, we're going to talk about the Vespi Forest, and we're going to talk about the High Folk, because that's where our next game is going to be, and I figured it would be a good time to go over that area. We haven't gone over it. We haven't gone over the Iaz troops there. We haven't gone over the Tortsik Rumps. We haven't gone over the Eagle's Nest, your keep. We haven't gone over any of that. Never have we talked about that. And so I think that'll be a great idea for next Sunday's Gabbin. So that'll be Gabbin number 40, Vespi Forest, and the High Folk. So, well, I'll be on chat too with you at 8 o'clock too, Carlos. I'll make myself available as well. Absolutely. Carlos, can you put down the charity too, please? Put that charity down as well for us here. And but we'll be broadcasting a lot more on that, what's going on with that as well. So that's exciting. But let's talk about our Saturday night special, because Brian came on for it. The Saturday night special has been created since we had such success on last Saturday on our Mega Stream charity event. But it's not going to, they're going to be regular games. So every 4 to 8 weeks, roughly, depending on when we can fit it in. Red Rover. Okay, cool. RedRover.org. Excellent. Beautiful, man. Carlos, I know a lot of people here will be more than willing to help. So you're reaching out to the right people. Brian will be DMing. And hey, let's welcome Brian to our DMing group now, officially, for this, right?
I mean, that I haven't been DMing before this, but yeah.
Yes, but you know what I'm saying. As far as you'll be the third official DM to broadcast on Lord Gazumba channel, which is exciting, and it'll be 5e style. And I already put it up, guys, on events. I talked about this before. It's called Brian Tortures Jay with 5e play as a joke. But
Not only the 5e play, it's 5e with fantasy grounds because all you suckers are remote.
yes, it's going to be a remote game. So Brian's going to be.
So I will mention everybody. While we're using fantasy grounds, it's only for mapping. People are still going to be rolling dice on the tables and that kind of shit. I mean, it's bad enough I'm making them all learn 5e. I'm not going to make them learn fantasy grounds as well.
Right. So Brian will have access to the maps, and I'll be. You'll be able to move your chits or whatever on the map in fantasy grounds, and I'll actually be doing the broadcast. We already have Brian and I already tested it. We have a pre-screen already set up for it, so we're going to be good for that. And it'll be from 8 to midnight, roughly.
Yeah.
27th. It's a one-off. Third level characters, 5e. We get to make our own. Right now, the 100% definites are me and the Nazrat. So we're our first sub we're going to have playing in one of our games. So Timmy the Nazrat's going to be in on that game. Yes, Praters loves fantasy grounds. And
I like fantasy grounds more than I like Roll20 personally, but
yes. So, but it's the first time I've ever played with it. First time I've ever played 5e. I still haven't opened a 5e book in my life. So, Brian and I usually get together and hang out on Saturday and Sunday mornings and just BS, but I was away. I was in Florida this weekend. So starting this upcoming weekend, we're going to start developing characters. God help. Cool, Praters. I appreciate that, man. You old Texas guys. So I really appreciate that. So Mark is hopeful, and we'll know in a little bit if Mark is in on that. Seshar scoring, he's busted balls already. So Brian has to convince Bill to play, and Tom wants to play, but Tom's problem is zooming from his house. He's got some issues. So I was saying, well, let's just get on my son's machine right here, and we'll both wear headsets, right?
You guys can hold hands.
Yeah,
do a bad roll.
Just sit right here and just play. So I'm working.
You're gonna be like, oh man, what's advantage?
Yes.
Hold my hand.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be huge.
I know what advantage is.
Yes, the tween of all tweens, advantage. I'm excited about. Brian, tell a little about what you're doing in your campaign, just and how this came about.
So the one shot, I'll talk about that first. So the one shot, I was joking with Jane. I was like, hey, after the Saturday night thing went well, we kind of talked even beforehand about doing just something like every couple months with the Saturdays. And I was like, hey, how about, as I joke, I run you guys through the 5e system just so you guys can get a little bit of flavor, and Bill would actually have a reference for why he's bitching versus just bitching about 5e. So he'd have a reference to it.
That's awesome.
That mechanic sucks. Well, now you have a reference to it. And so a joke turned into let's run it. I am actually running you guys through something that if we like it, we can continue it. It's a 3-parter that I ran for my nieces and nephews back a couple years back called the Moonflower Saga, because it's a very stereotypical name. So
cool.
Yeah, I was sitting there like thinking like, what the hell could I run that would fit in this time frame? And I was like, boom, right there. So while it was ran for my nieces and nephews, it doesn't mean it was simple. I was actually really surprised when I ran it for them how well they did and like how out of the box they thought. The campaign in general, you're talking about as a whole now?
Yeah, yours. Absolutely.
So we are starting May 1st is our official kickoff. My Obsidian portal is roughly set minus the formatting because I am not a CSS guru. And I'm like, every time I go to start, I go, oh, I suck at CSS. And I just go nowhere with it. CSS, if you're not familiar, it's HTML style coding. I may know HTML, but when it comes to CSS stuff, I just wave my hand and steal from other people.
Good. I'm excited about it. I mean, it's something different, and there you go. You're good, Praters. Thanks for hopping on and auto-hosting us, and I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
They're good. But absolutely.
We're going to be in the Salamore, which I picked that. Jay and I sat here one Saturday morning, like I was like naming off all these areas because I was looking for very specifics. Like, hey, how about this? Because you can even start with like the Salt Marsh, the U series. It's like, sweet, let's do it. And then I started developing everything, and then it's like, oh, our next book is Salt Marsh, but we took it out of Salt Marsh, so you don't have to worry about Dirty Greyhawk.
Yes. Yeah.
But my players are very excited because we're going from, if anybody is familiar with 5e play, I know Naz, you are. It sounds like Prater might be as well. 5e has been very save the world module, save the world, save the world, save the world.
Forgotten Realms.
What was that?
And Forgotten Realms modules.
Well, just a little.
Yeah.
So we're finally saying, screw you guys, and we're going. I mean, I will tell you, like when we ran against the giant, or not against the Giants, Storm King's Thunder, I tried every plot hook, and my players just didn't care, and they ran off with like this NPC, and we did stuff in the Shadow Realms, and it was just not even anything with the Storm King Thunder. So like when I told my players like this is what's going on, they were super excited. I did a lot of not a lot of customs. I have some custom rules in there. If you're not familiar with 5e, I always do stat buy or point buy for the stats, but I have where you can get a stat of 6, and if you have a stat of 6 or 7, there's a mechanical and a flavorful setbacks. Like a stat of 6, you can't read or write mechanically, and then flavorful, you have issues following train of thought.
Got it.
Just like Dex, you have a -2, an additional -2 on top of the Dex bonus that you lose to initiative. So you have a -4 to start on your initiative rolls and your clumsy.
See, Frank would know too. Nightheart Gaming's 5e too, so he understands. So I'm just sitting here like, okay.
I will hold all your little hands. I will create pre-gens, whatever you want.
I think it's going to be a fun time. And it's going to be hugely successful because it's going to. I'm going to look like a dope, which everyone likes that anyway. So that's why we're hoping we have we have a blast with it. This game is all right. So this game is April 27th.
It's a Saturday. I will not lie. I will be drinking during it. That to start with.
It's
need to.
Prayers. It's our special add-on. We're calling it our Saturday night special because we don't ever stream on Saturdays. The first time we ever streamed on a Saturday was when Mark was here for special times, and for our charity event last Saturday, we were on all day. And it was so hugely successful. Records for us on viewership and donations were great. We raised over $1,000. Once again, thank you all. Really appreciate it. So, and it just made sense for us and my friend Tim can play sometimes on Saturdays. So we're going to call it the Saturday Night Special. Every 4 to 8 weeks, we're going to do something on a Saturday night. And off from our normal Thursday game, Sunday chat, Mark every other Monday. So, and then we'll add in a Saturday occasionally. So cool, man.
Naz, I run Fantasy Grounds. When I do my Sunday night games, which we are off tonight because the DM's down Florida. We run Roll20, but as a DM, personally, I like Fantasy Grounds part off. Is because I have the ultimate package, and so everybody can hook up to it and have all the features. Not that we're using those features, but I'm just more familiar with it as a DM. It's a little bit easier to set up for me versus Roll20. But I will say I do do in-person games more than I do any of the online shit.
Yeah, and Brian and I have been friends with Bill Sasharscore and Bill the Master Crafter since 2004 when we were playing World of Warcraft together, and I've been really been egging him on to try to get him. Because here's one thing about us, about Mark, me, and all our players. We really don't want, and there's a lot of channels that we don't want streaming outside of people that aren't our good friends and that we could trust. And you all know why. You really need to. One slip up, one idiotic thing could really damage your reputation, hurt someone's feelings seriously. And I know I completely trust Brian. I mean, Brian's a great friend of mine, and he being obvious.
I've known you almost as long as I've known my wife. I was thinking about it. Like, I started playing Warcraft
2004.
Yeah,
absolutely, and it just makes sense. And I know I think it's going to be hugely successful, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about trying something different. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, it's a third level character. I can throw my own little twist on it. That's
Yeah,
already
third level for 5e is where characters start to get interesting, which is why we're doing that.
Yeah, so Nad's going to do an archer of some sort. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I'll figure something out. It depends on who else is playing the other classes, and we're going to push. Hey, it's okay. Hey, and Will's come on. Wicked Studios. Will, thanks, man. Lurking's good for us. You know that. Appreciate it, Will. We're almost done here anyway. So
I will show. So every, I think I mentioned to Jay before. I do table gifts for anytime we start new campaigns.
yes,
So I sent Jay a picture of this while he was in Florida. I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up there. This
It's
is my
perfect.
table gifts for this season. Now that I have the 3D printer, it is a dice jail. So I'm not a dice jail person, but that's what we got. So this is my prototype, and I
That to
bought
stop
some.
Jay from cheating.
No, it's when you roll your 1, you put that bitch ass D20 in there. So this is I bought like silver freaking filament.
That's nice, dude.
That's awesome.
So Brian is getting into the miniatures a lot now, as far as usage
Can't
on
say
terrain.
get into.
Terrain.
I freaking backed like how many Bones Kickstarters do I have sitting down in my room not painted?
Well, that's your own fault, man.
No, I mean you can't say just got into it. Like we are typically a miniature
my ball.
play style. All right.
I know you are. I know you are.
5E's theater of mind. And yes, we do a lot of theater of mind if it's a quick combat. But when it comes down to serious combats, we break out the miniatures, we break out the maps, we do all that.
Okay,
Like I go in there with my Chessex maps every week. I go in there with my tackle box of minis.
Brian, can you make one more of those?
One more of these.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
I have so I do have 2 ones that didn't print correctly. One I was taking it off on my print bed and I broke part of it. And one of it we had a power outage and my resume didn't feature. Or
Well, no one wants a broken one.
I'm just saying I have extras and I can print more. Yes, I can
Okay,
print more.
all right. Make one. This is what I'm going to do. All right. I can't do it this Thursday because this is a special thing.
Oh, because Thursday you have the. Did you talk about your awesome giveaway?
No, haven't talked about it yet. So
Oh, surprise, guys!
surprise! All right. So Thursday we did talk about a little bit. Stratagem, our newest sponsor. They have a panel link at the bottom below our page here. Click on it, goes right to their Amazon store. The mats are fantastic. The winter map is the best one I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
The one we use, it's fantastic looking. The rivers are cool. The spring one's cool. All these other accessories they have a DM's accessory sets. They have all sorts of other things that are really neat that can be used in the game. Our first giveaway with Stratagem, our second sponsor, is Thursday night. As long as the stuff gets to me, and Colin, the person I work with through Stratagem, says it's on its way, we'll be giving away 3 full sets of their dragon coins with a leather bag. It's like 60 coins. It's pretty cool.
Just even the leather bag is freaking pretty cool looking.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we're going. Stratagem wants to do a monthly giveaway with us. Not our first, and Miniature Building Authority. No, Mojo and I were talking, and he still hasn't. In effect, Sprocket won the subscriber one and said, I'm in the UK, I'm not going to use it. You can give it to someone. When Mojo won the follower one, even though he's a subscriber, I gave Mojo the subscriber one. So he says there's so much good stuff on Miniature Building Authority, I can't decide. Which means I still have the follower one. So guess what? I'm going to be giving away the follower one in addition on Thursday night as well. So we have 4 giveaways on Thursday night. 3 Stratagem coin bag sets and a $25 gift certificate to MBA for fall. So there'll be 2 bag sets for subscribers, 1 bag for follower, and a $25 follower gift certificate. So there's 4 things I'm going to be giving away Thursday. Sound cool, guys? Yeah, I think it's cool. After we're done.
I really hope they give either at some point the little cards that they use. I don't remember what they're called.
Oh, the stat cards, the hit point card stats?
No, not the hit point cards. The dungeon room cards.
Oh, yeah. They're going to give us all their stuff.
Those are really cool. And I tell you what, guys, if you are a new DM, they have this GM kit for like $40 or something like that. It's freaking phenomenal. It comes with an awesome screen, some hit point trackers, dice, the little room cards. I was looking at this thing. I was like, dude, that's freaking.
I'm
I
gonna
might
make.
even pick it up for like because right now all my 3D printed stuff is all related to castles and that kind of stuff or layers. I have the STL files for caverns, but I haven't printed any of them out. So I might pick those up just for.
I will
that.
make them give me some really cool. Yeah, these are $30 each. These sets, they're not cheap, so they're nice. It'll be nice giveaways, and like I said, everyone's eligible, even followers. You're eligible for 2 gifts. Subs are eligible for all 4 coming up on Thursday. So that's a huge announcement I wanted to make. And then what we'll do is I'll have Brian make. Everyone said they want one of those prisons. I'll have Brian make 1 or 2 of them. We'll give them away down the road, okay? And maybe we'll give them away after Brian's game on the 27th in honor. How's that?
Yeah,
sound?
maybe here I'll put a die in there for show here. And I will say, even though these are not a sponsor of Jay's game, I will tell you, Die Hard Dice. If you're looking for metal dice, this is the place to go. These guys, like, their prices are pretty cheap,
Cool.
but the dice are heavy. I feel bad I bought these things and I don't use them that often because
I know,
they are
'cause
just so heavy.
They
Yeah,
damage.
we call them table breakers.
Yeah.
So there is a standard size die in it, so you can fit like 2 D20s in this guy.
So
The tops don't fit the greatest, so I put some teacher putty. I don't know what this stuff's called, but teacher putty to keep them on.
So what we'll do is this: the 27th, we'll give away. Brian, you okay with giving away 2 of them?
I should be able to print 2 out.
We'll give away 2 of them on the 27th after the game. All right. We'll do.
After we fucking do that shit during.
You can tell he's been drinking. So Mark, what do you think?
It's more the cold medicine mixing with the 1 beer that I'm having.
Mark, what do you think in closing, man? What do you want to bring up? We discussed a lot tonight.
Mean, essentially, you've seen the trappings of what we've done over the past 39 years. Obviously, this goes in with an awful lot of work. We've learned in a lot of cases from our mistakes to really make things better. And it's stuff that we really like sharing. I mean, and if you have any questions, feel free, let Jay know. You can always, send me messages as well. We just enjoy it. Once again, we never really care if it's 1E, 2E, 3, 4, Pathfinder. Maybe
Come on, get to that last number.
Maybe 5. But just play. That's the whole point. It's really there. The best part of all of our 39 years, it really is because we're friends. And that's, some guys,
Absolutely.
They play poker. Some guys, they have different leagues it is that they're in. This is what we do. This is the fun that we actually have. So it's helped build a lot of really great relationships over the years. It's unfortunately also cost a few relationships over the years. But, at the end of the day, it's just intended to be an opportunity to enjoy each other's company and relish in something. So.
Absolutely. And you saw that Saturday night. I mean, everyone just was happy that everyone was there but one. Bill had an engagement, previous engagement with his son. He couldn't make it, and it was understandable. We had the whole crew there.
Bill,
Yeah.
I know you really. I really hope you can make it. Even if
I know he's trying. He's egging them on. Bill, Brian's like begging you to come on.
I told Jay, I was like, I'm not going to force you to do it, but like, at least then you would have a reference of why you're bitching. That's all.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Mark, you got to make it there too. But like, Bill hasn't agreed. Like, I was like, oh, Mark's a shoe and he's got it, and you're like, Tim was like, oh, it sounds like he was in. It sounded like we had 5 people. Is what
We'll
I
have
will
5.
Say, right
We'll
now,
have 5.
I'm building around 5 people. So
Yeah,
if we don't
we'll
have
have
5,
5
that means
playing.
I get to play my adjustment on the fly, which is not a big deal.
We'll have 5. We're gonna have 5. Like I said, Naz and I are the only 2 that are 1,000% in right now, and we'll have 5. That won't be a problem, guaranteed. So Brian, what do you want to say in closing, man?
Nothing. I mean, you guys have been. I mean, personally, as an influence getting back into D&D because don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Star Wars: Edge of the Empire. That's a great game. We'll be going back to it at some point. But going back to 5e and seeing your guys' game style a little bit more open world, it just confirmed that the whole module, the way that Wizard of the Coast is taking things is just not really
Not for you.
no.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, as a DM, I've been always more of a spur of the moment kind of let's make it up as we go along kind of thing.
Yeah, and you have to have homebrew in it. You have to tell your own story. That's the thing. You can tell your own story. So that's where I'd end it tonight, guys. You can tell whatever story you want to tell to your friends and make it as
And everybody
detailed.
created Winchester and send it to Jay.
Absolutely. So, Bill, at least he said it's under consideration. I mean, it's one night, Bill, and it's on a headset, and
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I'll be down in my daughter's playroom that way because I get kind of loud when I'm DMing. So I was talking to my wife. I was like, I think I'm going to put it, like, I'll take my computer, move my 3D printer off its stand, and put my computer there. So you guys will have my super cool handmade Viking shields in the background,
nice, beautiful,
which are in my daughter's playroom.
awesome. It'll be a blast. It'll be an absolute blast.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll call this an evening, and we'll say, hey, Thursday night we are going to be on for Darkwood Heart with a group you've never seen before, with some extremely interesting and with some of them with pets. Did you actually see pets being played in our game? Normally, I don't. You'll see. You'll all see.
And
You'll get
don't
to
forget
see the master of the Merlin spoon.
and a buttload of giveaways.
A buttload of giveaways. Like I said, all you have to be is a follower to be eligible, man. We don't discriminate, but subs get a little more, have a little more options.
What is it? 2 follower?
It's 2 follower, 2 sub, but subs can be get them as followers too. So it's yep, absolutely. Yep. Knowledge and
The coins are sweet.
The coins are sweet. Coins are sweet, and that $25 NBA gift certificate's still out there. So I'll be
and
giving that away, too.
so if anybody's ever curious, what you can get for $25 NBA. I have a bunch of like little things I painted, like these guys here, little tents.
Yeah, he got a 25 card once. Brian did. Yeah.
Yeah, you got tents. I have beds. So these are all sitting on my desk because I haven't played since I won. Freaking dresser drawers, books, a chair. $25. I got a couple tents, a couple bed, like a whole bedroom set.
Yeah, so he got all that for the $25. So you can get some good stuff for $25. So that's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for another great show. Thanks for another massive audience. I mean, you guys are humbling us. It's so fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's thanks for the new follows. Thanks for the new subs.
I would cheers you if we had bits. If I had bits, I don't have.
We all used all our bits for a worthy cause. So this group's going in with no special hero points at all. We only have 100 out there right now, and that was left over from Taco Turtles on Mark's group because Mark got all of them from that other night. So we're kind of we're bitless right now here. All right, guys. Well, thank you all. I'll see you. See you all. I'm going to go to an exit screen here. I don't think anyone is in raid form right now that's playing D&D that we got a relationship with. No. If Praetors or Legends was on, I'd do those guys. Or if Frank was on or Will was on, I would definitely raid into those guys. So see you all. See you all soon. You too.
Jay, I'll send you the character creation.
Yeah.
info.
Yes. All have a good night. See you all Thursday night.
See you.
Ciao. Awesome, guys. I'm here, Brian.
No, I know you're here. I understand you're here. You're always here, and this is always kind of like the outro, like the what's it called? We talked about this before. It's like the Mystery Science Theater 3000.
The
like,
denouement.
Everybody's sitting here watching this stuff. I will tell you, like, this freaking set that these NBA guys do with the shanty town, not shanty town, but the lake town.
Yeah.
Oh man, like if I had the money, I would sink it. I'm not that I don't.
Well, Mark and I put in a lot of money for this. But do you see what we're getting? We're not getting the whole thing. We're getting a lot of it. Oh
It's so well done, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I can do
getting the
mostly
mat,
this
too.
with. What was that?
The mat beneath it, the water mat, I'm getting that too.
I could do most of this with 3D printing, but the amount of time it would take, like
Oh
a
my
2x2 tile, is like 2.5 hours. I don't have my dials. People say they can get them off in about an hour, but I'm not going to.
Yes, Carlos, we do it on purpose so you can still hear us, just because we're messing around.
No,
in the background.
it's like this is the Mystery Science Theater 3000 part of the show.
Yeah, Frank coined that part, so. But it's going off in a second here as this ends. So, guys, have a good one, man. See you all soon.
Oh, that's right, because you don't have your other advertisements.
No.
No, you don't have that.
See ya.